Hey there, Nate here with the Volunteer Tech Vlog, and today, as I click my safety belt in, I can see, I'm going to be talking a little bit about safety as it pertains to audio and video equipment as I safely begin the recording before I start driving. That's one of the things I've started doing is I do record while I drive. But I hit the record button and then I commence driving, so as to not be distracted by what's going on up here on my phone that's mounted to my dashboard. So safety. The reason why this comes up is because in the news this week, found out that you know, I better give you a warning. I don't know exactly who listens to the video, and I always keep things family friendly. I never swear or use inappropriate language or anything like that, so pretty safe. But this is, if you've got kids in the car, I don't know where you're listening. I imagine people listen to these vlog videos kind of in the background when they're doing something else. So they might be at work, you might be driving, or you know, who knows. If you're using YouTube Red, you can download the video directly to your phone and then take it on the go, so you're not using data. But just a heads up, this is kind of a tragic story I'm about to share with you here. So at a daycare center, a 5-year-old boy was killed when a TV fell on him this week. I think this was in the news, I believe, down in the oh shoot, it was somewhere in the south. It was either in Georgia or Tennessee or something. So I think it was in Athens, Georgia. But the TV was up on a cart, and it was one of those big tube TVs that has, you know, real heavy, real bulky, before they moved to like flat panel designs. Like in 2009, 2010, a lot of the TVs you started seeing a lot of flat designed TVs. But so the boy was climbing up on this cart, and the TV was not strapped to the cart or secured in any way, and then the whole thing just, you know, fell down on him, and the boy lost his life. And I feel like somebody like me who vlogs about live sound and audio video technology, I think it's important to mention that in case you didn't hear of it, because there's no need for that to happen, and it's just a horrible situation. And as people who work with audio and video technology, I think we need to really be aware of the safety implications of the technology that's around us, whether it's mounting a speaker high on a wall, or using rigging and anchor points and trusses to suspend some sort of ceiling, some sort of speaker or device or light from the ceiling. You really need to know what you're doing and know the safety implications. And you know, it's something that we need to take seriously. And so this event happened in a daycare center that had this old TV that was on a cart. And you know, I can think of an old TV like that's on a cart in our church, where I'm headed to right now this morning. And I think it's strapped down, but I don't know. It's one of those things that's been down in a kid's classroom for years and years and years, and I really don't have much to do with it. You know, somebody set it up, but probably the first thing I do this morning is going to be go check out that TV in that classroom and make sure it's got a ratchet strap and it's strapped down, and you know, probably should see about just getting rid of it, because how often do they even use that thing? But anyway, that's kind of the message for this morning. Kind of a downer, kind of a sobering message, but I think it's good to keep the conversation going. I was just having this conversation with S. Ewing. He's been watching, I know you watch some of these videos, so maybe you'll watch this one, but I read that so where this came up in the past was for a few weeks back when I was doing the 5K road race prep video and trying to think about equipment I would need outside. I knew I was going to be using speakers up on stands, and I thought, you know, probably be good to have sandbags. And I ended up not getting sandbags because we don't have any. I would have to go purchase them. And when you're putting speakers up on a tripod type stand inside on a flat ground, it's, you know, those things are pretty stable. But if you can get like what they call saddlebag style sandbags, so there's like a sandbag and a sandbag, and then there's a piece of fabric or cloth between the two, you can drape it over something to keep it secure. So I think having some saddlebag style sandbags on hand would be good, just in case somebody walks into it or trips or, you know, something like that, and they bump into it. That thing will be anchored and have a low center of gravity. You know, the weight will be distributed lower. But yeah, so S. Ewing sent me a link to read about, you know, flying speakers and audio video equipment safely from Pro Sound Web. And it was a really good article by, actually I can't remember who it was by off the top of my head, but I'll put a link to it in this video. But it was really good. It talked about pretty much all the major situations or common situations that somebody doing sound would find themselves in from a safety standpoint, and what to be aware of, whether you're, you know, you've got a stack of speakers on the ground, or you've got like a pole system with a sub on the floor, and then the full range drivers up on top, and a pole just in between them, or you got a speaker up on a, you know, tripod style speaker stand, or you know, just talked about various different things. If you're gonna, you know, safety implications. Talked about safe working load, SWL, maximum working load, and the safety factor. And, you know, if you're working with you know, down to the hardware, down to the shackles and the bolts, the eye bolts, the various hardware that you're using to secure this stuff, it needs to have a safety factor. Now, in the infocom world, I've read about a 5-to-1 safety factor, but hey, if you go 7-to-1 or 10-to-1, nobody's, you know, that's a good thing, right? So you just need to be aware of safety factors when you're mounting things and you're using bolts. You know, if you're gonna pick hardware that can support 100 pounds as a safety factor of 100 pounds, and you're gonna hang 1,000 pounds using that screw or eye bolt or shackle or whatever it is, that's a problem, right? So some things to be aware of. So I mentioned that story just to about the little boy, just to kind of pull things back, bring it into perspective, is that a lot of people aren't paying attention to that kind of thing. And I think we owe it to ourselves and our community to really pay attention to the safety of the equipment around us. So I know I've made big stinks about things before, that you know, especially when there's kids around, if something seems unsafe, like I'll make a big stink about that, because you know, the kids running around aren't gonna care, and you know, it's never a good idea to cut corners when safety is involved. So that's the moral of this video: is don't cut corners when safety's involved. Get the training. Talk to somebody who does rigging professionally. If you don't have anybody in your community that can offer advice there, do a walkthrough around your building. Make sure things are safe, and try to avoid anything like that happening again. So that is my public service announcement for today. All right, see you in the next video. So that TV that fell down on the little boy looked very much like this, on a cart that looked very much like this. And this is the one that we've got down in our kids area. I don't think they use more than once or twice a year, even if that. The difference here is that we've got this little ratchet strap right here to keep this TV from toppling over. I mean, it keeps keeping it on the cart. I mean, that cart that's a pretty wide base. a cart right there. So for this thing to fall over, I mean, it could happen. I mean, this is still a pretty dangerous rig, essentially, just because it's got all this weight up on top. You know, if somebody were to climb up this thing, it still could fall over and potentially injure a young kid, just because of the nature of it being top heavy. So I guess one of the things we could do is either get rid of it. I mean, it is good to see that there's a strap right there. I think that's what I wanted to make sure, that, especially after hearing that story, that we had a strap on ours. But I think we've got a bunch of lightweight junk down at the bottom. I think if we want to continue using this, we probably should think about getting some sort of counterbalance or some sort of like weight down at the bottom there that can keep that thing anchored in case a kid, you know, I'm just imagining a kid trying to climb up this thing. So anyway, that's a very dangerous piece of equipment right there.